Hello, I'm Dwayne Dickens, and I'm meeting with Merton Huff, and we're going to talk about the African American Male Student Success Team. And Merton, first question. When you think about the African American Male Student Success Team over this last year, what would you consider to be your best memories of some of the work that we did?
I believe that one of the best memories that I can think of would be the icebreaker. Throughout our meetings, the times that we got together and were able to get to know one another, to see the different backgrounds and where each person came from and how they got to this point, kind of meant a lot. And the speakers, the mentors, they would all come and, welcome. In the beginning, everyone would welcome us. Say, we're glad to have you. Hey, if there's anything that we can do to help, if there's anything that we can do to be a support to you, and even the guest speakers that they would have to come in, as a motivational force to each and every person that was there, really meant a lot. That's probably one of the things that really stuck out to me. Being a speaker, one that has to encourage people on a continuous basis, even in my own profession, to come and see and to be poured into, as a leader, and to see other potential leaders, get poured into, that's the same means a whole lot. So I think that was probably one of my best memories.
Okay. And when you think about being an African American male student at TCC, could you sort of discuss what you consider to be some of the challenges that an African American male faces at TCC?
I'm sure I won't say there's a stereotype, but, there probably are certain norms that society has, if you look at statistics and things as far as, young black males who get arrested, who, end up in trouble and different things. To see a core group of, those young brothers that go to school, in whatever capacity they can go, if they have the strength, they have the background in which, push them towards that, as opposed to, hey, you need to get a job, you got to take care of your family, you got to take care of these kids you made, all these things. So, I think you'll have that anywhere, not just in school. But I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as it's only what you make it. As a student, I decided, hey, when I come into the school, this is what it's going to be what I make it. It's all about attitude. It's not only the attitude of the student, but the attitude of the professor. As far as my experiences, my professors were very supportive. The mentors were very supportive. Fellow peers, were very supportive. So I don't believe it was any, hey, this black guy, it wasn't, anything like that. Everybody was very supportive of each and every person that I've seen, and even the brothers that I talked to on campus, really got a lot of support, and that means a lot, because everywhere you go, you may not get that. Some places you go, it is like, some reservations like, well, I don't know, and that's with any student. I think it's with any race, it's all about our attitude and what we put into it, determines what we get out of it. So, as far as treatment at the school, I was blessed, and had, I won't say an advantage, but I feel like I was really blessed and favored, to be able to get into the school and, obtain the resources, through the mentors and through the support of the staff and everyone, just to get, I felt welcome. I really felt welcomed. I felt, appreciated. I felt, hey, we're glad to have you here, and we want to really see you succeed. So that means a lot.
Okay. When you think about your past educational experiences from elementary school to high school or even past higher educational institutions, how do you think those prepared you for being at TCC?
Wow. Well, growing up, I was always an A student. I won't say, but I was always an A student. I did pretty good until I got to high school. I did really well, and more B's and C's. And I got to I graduated at 16. I skipped the 11th grade. I graduated at 16. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I was always a musician. I had been playing piano since I was 5, So I knew that my gift was, preparing me for something. But I didn't know at the time that, I would be here, years later. But at 16, I graduated. I went to Pensacola Junior College. That's where I'm from, Pensacola, Florida. And I majored in paralegal. And I didn't like it at all. After the first year, I changed my major to business. Still wasn't what I wanted to do. And, had I known then what I know now, it'd be different. Then I went to school to become a barber, Roppler's Technical Institute, and I became a barber and hairstylist. And I, managed salons and for the past 10 years, and now at 31, back in school, I have a whole new outlook, and if I look at my grades then, and my perspective then at 16 where I didn't know, I didn't have any support. I didn't have a mentor to say, hey, you really should follow your heart. If music is your heart and you've been doing that and that's all you know, pursue that, Now at 31 and having, done music and been a minister of music and played for churches and, served as a director of music for different churches in capacity, now pursuing the music degree that I should have pursued in the beginning, straight A's, all the way across the board, whereas, D's and F's throughout the paralegal and legal research and the torts and all the classes that you take concerning paralegal, it's totally different. So I think it's the support system that you have in which when you enter school, especially when you're trying to find yourself as a teenager, 17, 18, 19, peer pressure around you to, hey, this is going to have more money. If you turn into a paralegal or you get a business degree, you can do this. Not if you pursue your dream, not if you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I heard someone say if you do something that you really love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. If you're passionate about it, if you love it, and music is something that I love. Being a hairstylist was something that I love too. So making people feel good about their appearance, it never felt like work, And so I think all those things led me to this point, to be here at TCC today. Never thought I would, in a million years, but the entire process, from kindergarten to being a senior in high school and then, going from high school into college, and then I stopped and I just kind of stopped. After the second year, I stopped. I took a break. I said, I don't know what I want to do yet. And then the opportunity to present itself to go back until now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what it means to be a successful student. What would you call or how would you define a successful student?
I think it definitely starts with attitude. I think our attitude can determine, how far we go in life. It can open doors for us. It can also close doors for us. I heard someone say environment as well. I believe that our environment. I heard a guy say, he said, if you can take a seed and you can let that seed sit on the window ledge. You can sit it on the window ledge, and 40 years from now, it'll still be a seed. Why? Because of its environment. If you never planted it in the ground, if you never placed it around, the soil and, watered it and all those things, it never could, flourish into a forest. So, that's the same as a student, your environment, being around, having the right attitude and then surrounding yourself with, like-minded people. I don't want to surround myself with people who are not, want to study, who don't want to go anywhere, who's not about business when it comes to it. Now, at 16, I probably would have, just to try to fit in. Going into college at 16, 17 years old, yeah, you're going to try to fit in and see what everybody else is doing, and you hang out in the hub and in the, in the student center and, lounge, and you don't go to class and you all those things. So I think it's attitude, it's environment, persistence, just persistent, and that goes back to attitude, having a persistent attitude and a kind of get up and go, a stick-to-itiveness to, continue in whatever you decide to do. So I think those are, two of the main things that make, your environment, includes your support system. It includes your family. If you don't have a family pushing you to go into, hey, you need to go into school, this is going to be important for you. Don't just get a job and work because you're going to be frustrated. Now, if college isn't the thing for you, finding your niche and whatever is comfortable and whatever's going to be a good support system for you is important. But, for some people it is. And if you choose to enter college, if you choose to make that, a priority for you, really to make it a priority and have, your family to support you, your friends to support you. If they know, hey, school is a priority for me, I got to study, I got to make this happen. That means so much more, and it goes, a much longer way than if they feel like, hey, what you doing tonight? They can pull you out of your homework and they can pull you out of your focus to do whatever it is that they need you to do. I think it's, so that goes back to the environment and the attitude, those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you think about the definition you just gave for a successful student, how would you define yourself based on that definition?
I consider myself pretty successful so far. I've had a good support system. Like I said, I'm here as director of music at my church, and they've been very supportive. The pastor of the church has been very supportive of me in school. My family's very supportive. They live in Florida, but they're so ready to come and be here for the graduation and, you know, just support me. And it's like, we can't wait to come, you know, because this is would be literally my first college degree. And, you know, to graduate, you know, so early on and, you know, oh, you're so smart and you hear all those things all the time, but you never feel accomplished. That's the why I never got that degree. I never finished, you know. What if I had finished at that time? But now that I'm at this point where I can finish, you know, I think I've been pretty successful this far. I was on the president's honor roll last semester, so I got all A's, and I brought my GPA literally from like a 1 point something all the way up to a 3.86. So I've been doing well, and I think, you know, I've been pretty successful thus far, you know, based on the support of, you know, friends and family, the mentors, the, you know, African American male success team, you know, definitely has been a blessing. Yeah.
Now, do you have other people in your family who have degrees?
I have a younger sister that does. She has an associate's degree, and hers was in general education. She's a musician as well, and she's a minister, and she has a family now. She got married and has 2 kids, so I know it's probably a little bit harder for her to go back to school. My mom has a degree. My dad never, you know, got his degree. And I don't even really believe his education went beyond 8th grade, to be honest with you. So it's my older 2 sisters, they stopped at 16 years old. They both, like, dropped out at 16 years old. But they both, actually, my sister, my middle sister, she's 32. She just got her diploma. And so she was so glad. And, you know, just to be able to see even that, you know, that you know, accomplishment. You know, that was a really big accomplishment for her, you know, after stopping and, you know, dealing with peer pressure at a young age, and she just dropped out and she went into Job Corps and different things. And to come back and, you know, so it's definitely an accomplishment for me and, you know, to finish, you know, and it's, you know, you definitely get the support of your family to finish because everybody didn't. You know, I was the first person in the house to graduate, you know, and even though I graduated at 16, they both dropped out at 16. So I was the first one, you know, to even finish high school, you know, so it's definitely an accomplishment, you know, and I'm so proud of them, you know, even for, you know, having the tenacity, the courage to go and finish, you know, even at 31, 32 years old, to say, hey, I still need my diploma. I still need that. You know, that's something I want to have for myself. And she was going actually for a GED, and she took the test, and, you know, her scores were so high, hey, they'd send her a diploma, say, hey, you know, this is what you deserve. So, yeah.
Okay. So now, sort of looking back at TCC and your role as a student at TCC, what would you consider to be significant obstacles you face in terms of being successful at TCC?
A lack of knowledge. I think, you know, knowledge in certain areas could definitely cause obstacles. You know, when I first got here, just trying to, you know, the enrollment process, I think, is one of the biggest obstacles. You know, it can be one of the biggest hurdles or challenges. You know, the whole financial aid process and everything that it entails. You know, making sure you have everything together, especially as a younger student. You know, in some cases, you know, you got to get your registration. You're an out-of-state, you know, student, okay, and you need to pay out-of-state fees versus in-state fees, okay. And I didn't know that if I relocated here for work, so I didn't, you know, realize until someone told me, hey, if you're moving here, you know, for work related, you know, you may be considered an in-state tuition. So, you know, I said I'm going to move to Tulsa, and I'll wait a year. Then I'll go, you know, I'll wait till I can, you know, won't have to pay out-of-state fees. Then I'll go to school, you know. So I put it off. But, you know, literally a month or 2 after I moved here, I was already in school. So, you know, those could have been obstacles for me, you know, had I not known, you know, or had people around me that support and say, hey, you know, try this or try that, or, you know, there's people to communicate with, and every student doesn't ask questions. So I think, you know, one of the biggest obstacles is the lack of knowledge, not knowing. If you don't know, as a student, if you don't know what you need to know, you'll miss out, you know, whether it's a scholarship, whether it's, you know, financial aid, whether it's a deadline. And they say, hey, if you had brought this yesterday, you know, if you had brought this last week, you know, we could have got you in this semester, but you're going to have to wait, or you're going to have to do this. And so the biggest obstacle for any student probably is not knowing. You know, I believe I'm a firm believer in knowledge and, you know, acquiring knowledge and asking questions. So if you don't ask, you won't know. You can cause the fact that you did not ask to be your greatest obstacle. Because you don't know. When you don't ask, you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you think of the resources at the college, what resources have you found to be most beneficial to you in your success as a student?
What resources? I would definitely say first and foremost, I really can appreciate it. And this is not because, but I think the mentors that yourself, Dr. Clayton, just to support, hey, if you need something, come by the office. They would see me in the hall. Dr. Clayton would see me. He'd say, hey, man, if you need something, and even yourself, just being there and say, hey, Merton, try this. Let me see if I can help you in any capacity in any way. And I think, that helped me get through the obstacles that I faced. I can, truly say that. My obstacles were, getting financial aid and having attempted so many hours, when I was younger in college, and now actually being focused in my major and, working towards that degree. But, if you attempt so many hours, then that can affect your financial aid. So just doing the petitions and all those things, just the help that I needed to get through that, as far as going to class, even the encouragement, hey, you need to be in class, you need to, study, you need to be there. I appreciate, even that. And so I think the mentors, and, the success team as a whole, really encourage even some of the fellow brothers on campus, Jabari and Larnell. I would see them and, hey, man, how you doing? How's class going? So when you get that support, it really helps you to get through those times when you don't feel like going to class, or, when you're so overwhelmed with work and all the, other things that, life brings. So I think that's one of the major things, the mentors and the team as a whole. Like I said, my teachers really gave a lot of support, and, other classmates just as well, But, when you have somebody, when you're connected to some capacity, and a lot of students don't get connected. They go to class and they go home. They're not connected to a study group. They're not connected to a mentoring team or anyone that can be of any support, within the school. I mean, your parents can't come to school and study with you. They can help you at home, but if you have somebody to, hey, let's go to the library. Let's go study. Let's go to, the student center and, see if we can get some work done and get this finished, And so having that, means a lot. And if you're not involved in a core group or connected in any way, to get connected to some, association, whether it be the African American Male Association or the African American Student Association, just as well, or whatever would fit, and take that and use it to your advantage.
Okay. When you think of the team itself, the African American Male Student Success Team, if you had the opportunity to change something or add something, what would you change or add about the team to help it be more successful in helping you?
I went to primarily the Southeast location, so I would probably say even, not really change anything, but just get more people involved. It's more students there that we really need to get involved, that probably really don't know, because, I won't say, a lot happens and more happens at the Metro campus, but, there's still more other students, African American students, that we really need to get involved there. That probably would be, probably more outings and like the whole bowling and, just having fun, as a college student, as a single college student as well, just the fellowship, to be around other people, other students, probably a little bit more of that, as a good mix. We definitely get the study time, the school time, and the support we need at school, But just, I think we do a pretty good job of staying connected. I think that's a great thing. But I would just try to get, as many involved as possible, never overlook, and I don't think, they overlook any person, but, maybe something I can help with, even at the Southeast location, to just really help to pull some more people together and say, hey, we're having a meeting, we're having this, we're having that. Let's get you involved. Let's get you connected, so that you have what you need to get through this time as a student. Yeah.
When you think of yourself as a student over this last year, if you could do anything differently from what you did last year, what would you do differently as a student?
Well, one of the things I did, and that was not going to school at night. That was one. I was like, I don't want any night classes. I, got a much better schedule. That's one of the things that I actually did. But if I could do anything else differently, I think the first portion of my first year here at TCC, I was a little apprehensive about whether I could do it or not. 30 years old, you back in school. I was really, it was really, I was blessed, and I was like, okay, this works out, this works out, and if nothing else, I would have had more faith, in myself, looking back and, doing things different. I would have just had more faith and, more, and I was able to make it through, like I said, through the support, and I appreciate the support. That's what it means. That's what it's all about. So I think, the mentors, the success team, the school as a whole, push me in the area where, so really they helped me accomplish that, which I thought, I couldn't do. It's like, okay, now you're back in school and you're at this time where you can, are you going to get in and you're going to go for a year and then stop again, and a lot of times when you have went through those things in the past and you come back to those times, it's like, those thoughts come back to your mind, So I think that would probably be the main thing for me. Is just come into it with, hey, you got to come into it. And I came into it with a pretty good attitude. But even, sometimes, some days in class, I tried, I was discouraged, and I was like, I don't know, these classes are, a little tougher, these teachers are requiring a lot, so just having a little bit more, belief and more faith and just, really just moving forward. And I'm at a place now where I definitely am moving forward, but, if I had to start it out, that way. Yes.
Okay. When you think of the mentors that you've encountered over this last year, what do you think are some of the obstacles they face in trying to help you be successful?
I think, you mean myself or just students in general?
Just maybe students in general.
I think some of the kickbacks could be, just like I mentioned earlier, attitude and environment. Those two things. If a mentor is trying to connect with you, and your attitude is, well, I don't want to, really deal with this. I just come to get my little school thing in and, I'm out of here. Or, you got a family that's saying, hey, you need to get out of class and get to your job, So if you have that, you have a mentor that's reaching out, trying to encourage you, as a person that sees in the long run, you're going to really need this career. You're going to need this support system that I'm trying to, help you with at this point. Those can be two great kickbacks when it comes to trying to help a student be successful. What goes on when they leave campus can really affect how you can help them while they're here. Their attitude and their persona, here, and once they leave here, is going to determine how you can help them. I think those are two of the main things as a mentor, because you can't help anyone you can't really get to. If I can't get to you, even mentally, if I can't get to you, if I can't sit down and have a one-on-one with you or see, hey, how you doing? Where are you? How's school going for you? How's things at home? Is there anything that at home that's affecting, you being able to be effective at school? Those type things. So I think that really can hinder the success, of the mentor-mentee relationship. Based upon, it's like a pull. It's almost like a tug of war. If I'm trying to pull you in, and you may be pulling in the opposite direction. So I think it's our attitude and our mentality as students, that, the mentors always look at the students with an open mind and say, okay, this is a new student. This is a brand new person that I can help, and let me see in which way I can help them, and we can be of service to each other. And so I think the mentors come into it with the right mentality, but if the student has a pullback or resistance for some reason or another, it may be just a lack of trust. It may, it's so many different things that can, and you never know what a person is going through. So many different things that can cause a person to kind of back off to where they don't feel like, well, I don't really need you to help me out. I had someone who tried to help me before, and then they let me down or they gave up on me. And I heard someone say before that, it's a dangerous place to be in when a person can see you wrong and nobody says anything, because that means people have given up on you. So, if you're a person that, you can be doing wrong, you could do whatever you want to, and nobody says anything, that's a scary place to be, because people have really given up. They just feel like, hey, that's just their personality. That's what they're going to do. And so having mentors that can see beyond that and say, hey, we need to try to pull this person back in, or we really need to try to help them, in spite of their obstacles, in spite of the resistance, I'm going to keep at it, because I know it's more to them than that. So.
Okay. If you were to put yourself in the shoes of your mentors, and they could tell you 2 or 3 most important resources at the college, what do you think your mentors would tell you? These are the resources you absolutely need to be aware of at the college.
These are the resources that you need to be aware of at the college. I think first and foremost is, academic advisement. That's one of the major things, just making sure that hey, in which direction you want to go. Because if you start out for school and you don't know where you want to go, you don't know what you want to major in, I think that's one of the main things. So I was definitely told, hey, you need to go talk to an academic advisor, see where you are, where you stand with your testing. Those are the things. And some students can just go sign up for classes. You got students that are, hey, they'll register and they'll just, they won't really take it into consideration or account. I need to go, and get an advisor, get a counselor to kind of sit and talk with me, kind of see where I am, assess what I've taken already, what I need. I think that's one of the main things. Financial aid is definitely another part. Having somebody who can answer those questions and help you with scholarships and the resources of scholarships for African American students or scholarships for tall students. I even heard there was a scholarship for tall people. I was like, I didn't get that. I'm pretty tall, but just to learn about those kind of along the process. So I think definitely your financial aid, your advisement, your enrollment, your drop ad, all those things kind of help you from a perspective of the mentors or whoever giving you the advice that you need to make it, to be successful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you mentioned earlier that it would be good to have more African American males or students involved in the group, and we would like to have this open to more students. What would be some suggestions that you would have to involve more students?
Well, college life to me is a time where kids, a lot, and I've seen in a lot of instances where kids can kind of go astray and, just kind of go out and, so I think having something for them to do, beyond the four walls of the school, that's one thing. At our church a couple weeks ago, we actually had the entire football team from TU. They came over. It was about 150 football players, and they were able to come over and worship with us, and so that was really good. And not only that, but we had our Crossroads ministry had a line dancing class, so just different things that keep them connected outside of the four walls of the school. Maybe one area, for those kids who really don't have. That's just another way to get those kids that connected. Have study groups, have times where, hey, we're going bowling, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Let's get them involved and have a karaoke night or have a game night. Just different things that keep them connected because, in essence, if they're not connected to someone in the school, they're connected to someone. If they're not hanging out and having a good time with friends at school, they're going out. They're going to clubs, they're partying, they may be drinking. Missing study time. So if you're iron sharpeneth iron. So if you're around people who can, add value to you and, they're pretty much in the same boat. We're in school, we're both in school, we're really trying to do things, so we ought to stay. It's okay to go have drinks, it's okay to have fun, but to still stay grounded and, kind of. So I think, having, some activities, more activities outside of the four walls, of the campus or even on the campus, whether it's a game night or different things, because people, a social part of their life is a part that people need to nourish as well as, the educational portion of their life. So, like I said, that just having the football team come to the church, even, maybe a whole team goes visit a church one day together, or they go and they, take a class, a stepping class, or, a dancing, or just any salsa dancing, or just anything together, a sense of community, a sense of togetherness. I think that would be great. If, if it's something I can help organize or help with, I'm all for it. I'm all willing,
We will keep that in mind.
Yeah.
When we're of course wanting to expand a lot of the work that the group does, and we would involve individuals from the college other than African American males.
Right.
So we would have females, we would have non-African Americans assisting and being mentors for African American males. Mm-hmm. What would be some of your suggestions for those individuals who are non-African American males helping with these males?
Well, I think that as all races, we have to be able to appreciate each other and whatever, I've learned to appreciate people where they are, basically, this is where you are in life, this is your station in life, it's not about race, so just to be able to come together, whatever race, whatever mentor, whoever can assist or help, I think that's great. I think it, means a whole lot. And just to be able to understand each person where they are and, just enjoying the time, enjoy life together. I think that's the main thing. I don't think it's really about, hey, this non-African American person just, she's our mentor, she's helping out, I think it's just enjoying life as a unit, in whatever capacity. If we're enjoying a movie together, or if we're all enjoying a karaoke event together, just in whatever we're doing, just to have fun and enjoy life together, and encourage each other as students, encourage each other as mentor, mentees, stick together, kind of create a sense of family, because everybody, I think, it's, the membership has its privileges. I hear people say that. I think the American Express card has that logo. And so everybody wants to belong to something, So even I don't think it's about the race. If there's a Hispanic, mentor, if there's a, any of the race, black or white or whatever, mentor, and they're pouring into a mentee, or they have a sense of togetherness or unity. I don't believe it matters what race they are, as long as they stick together.
Okay. When you think of your teachers and other staff members you've met at the college or interacted with, what advice would you offer to them in order to help other African American males be successful at TCC?
I think in some cases, and I know this is college, but in some cases, just like I said a moment ago, just to be able to find out where each student is, or appreciate each person where they are. And it's maybe easy to make the assumption that everybody's on the same level. And that may be a challenge, when you have everybody may not understand or learn, I read this book called The 5 Love Languages, but I thought about, a learning language, just as well. Some people may learn more by visual, in a music class, some people learn more, if you're reading, and then you have an oral theory and music theory. So some people may learn more by hearing it. Some people may learn it more by seeing it in the book, so just being able to find different ways to explain and not assume that everybody's on the same, not assume that everybody's on the same level or the same page when it comes to it. And it just may take a little bit more time with one student than it may with another. Me as a music, person and dealing with singers and music people and, on a consistent basis, I have to learn that, okay, everybody, when I'm teaching a song or something, everybody may not be able to catch the song. So let me go over it a couple more times. Let me review it. Some may need to hear it a little more. Some may need to read it on paper a little bit more. So I think, just being able to see where each student is and understand that everybody's not on the same level or on the same page or mentally is in the same place. So, to kind of be able to assess the environment, assess the room, and pull all the minds together is another thing. As teachers, just kind of, take a moment, let everybody. I found out one thing that helps is meditation. Even if it's in a class setting or whatever. Even if at the beginning of class, the teacher say, hey, let's everybody take a break. Everybody inhale, exhale. Let's clear our minds. I know we, had a lot to happen even before you entered the classroom. So just take a moment to meditate, clear your mind, and then we'll go from there. And, just assess the environment and make sure everybody's mind is together. Because some people have been looking at text and they come in class and try to cut all that off and turn into education mode. And it's really hard sometimes. Mm-hmm. So just being able to assess the room and see where each student is individually and, do the best as a collective to make, that effort really stand out.
Okay. If you had an opportunity to sit with the president of the college, and he were asking you, what should I change? What should I do at TCC to help African American male students? What would you tell him?
What would I tell the president? I would think overall that, TCC is a very good school. I think it has pretty, done a good job of, making sure students are created equal and treated equally and all those things. I don't know if there's anything that I would, literally tell him to, change, the school. I think, everything's going good. I think, he has a good, good core group of people that are helping to equip students as a whole, not just African Americans, but just students, period. But concerning African Americans, about, if I could say anything to him, maybe like put some soul food in the cafeteria or something, like some fried chicken or mac and cheese. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know what I would, on that one, I don't know what I would say to him. I don't know if there'd be anything specific because, like I said, I think it's generally an overall, pretty good school. I think it's, has a good, it's a good environment. It's a good learning environment, and so I just take it in. I think life gives us whatever life gives us, we have to take it in and take from it. And this school has a lot to offer, and it does give a lot of great things.
Okay. Yeah. What would you tell African American male students in order for them to be successful at TCC? New one comes in, maybe your younger brother, cousin, best friend enters TCC. What would you tell them to be successful here?
I tell them to go to class. I'll tell them to, get connected. Same things I said before. So it's all about your mentality and what you decide to do. If you choose, to make the best of it, it will be the best for you. If you don't choose to make the best of it, it's not going to work for you. It's not. I mean, you can. It's a mindset. It's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. You have to class learning. You have to make it a lifelong process. It's a lifestyle. So I think, the same thing. If it's a new student coming in, I would do everything that I could to try to direct them, towards, hey, you need to check this out, make sure you ask questions, if you don't know something, ask. The best thing to do is to ask if you don't know. If you don't know and don't ask, you'll never know, and so you'll miss out. So that would probably be one of the main things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are there any questions that you just thought, I'm sure he's going to ask this today, that I did not ask and you are prepared to talk about?
I think you covered all of them.
Okay.
You covered a lot of questions, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We're finished for today.
Thank you.
Thank
Glad
you,
to be
sir.
here.
Thank you.